first, so you got to shut him down right now. Johnny Damon, 3 pitches into Game 4, pow, home run, and now they're looking at the Cardinal dugouts like, geez, now we got to battle back against the staff we haven't had any success against.
You just saw Larry Lucchino and the new ownership group there over the last couple of years. Call them new. They're not new anymore, but you really have to take your hats off to them. They're a group that said they were going to come in and bring a world championship, and here they are 2 years later doing it.
Manny Ramirez sharing the thoughts of many members of Red Sox Nation. As Derek Jeter is playing golf, this is better.
I'm sure old Jeets will get that one. I'm sure somebody will mention him that was part of the parade.
But that's okay.
Yeah.
Just keep the fire going. Keep the fire going.
Well, Manny Ramirez enjoying every minute of it. You know, you think about those commercials. Olympia Sports did those commercials where he daydreams about being named World Series MVP. That's not bad. That was a precursor of what would eventually happen, as he did indeed win the World Series MVP award, and he's enjoying every minute of it now, and why not? Manny Ramirez and the Red Sox are on top of the world here at the Rolling Rally.
Fly ball deep drive to left field, and it's gone right now. Out of here. Home run, Manny Ramirez.
You know, I went through a lot of drama during the winter, but, you know, I keep my mind positive, and I told my wife before the season started, hey, baby. We did it, man. We're the champ.
Ramirez coming in, makes the catch, tagging up Walker, the throw home, the tag at the plate. He is out and home. That's a double play. It ends the inning. Manny Ramirez gunning down Larry Walker.
Most Valuable Player Award in the historic 2004 World Series goes to Manny Ramirez. Red Sox in an 8-game winning streak. Manny with a 17-game hitting streak through all this. Manny, it was a tremendous performance. I congratulate you, the most valuable player in the 2004 World Series.
Well, a great year for Manny. We'll see what happens as far as the American League MVP goes, but they'll never take away his World Series MVP award. A tough call. You know, the games went by so quick. They had so many offensive contributions. I know you and Jerry Bob talked about maybe Keith Falk. You see him just over to the left of your screen with a video camera. Maybe he should have been the MVP, but you could have gone a number of ways there.
Oh, you could have. You know, Manny had 11 RBIs, batted over 400, and you know, Falk was in 4 games and certainly was a valuable part to just, how about the security of knowing that you had a guy at the back end of that bullpen that you could bring in and do the job. And you look, Donnie, at the season, there was a time when Falk was a little vulnerable, and everyone was questioning, you know, as he blew a couple saves and had a string of them, actually. And
well, the Baltimore game late in the season, when it was, Javi Lopez one night, and there was a Rafael Palmeiro the next night. They were back-to-back blown saves. And the phone calls were lighting up on sports talk radio around here. What are we going to do? Are we ready for this guy? And he had never been beyond a division series. You talk about a guy who stepped up when it counted the most. He was phenomenal in the ALCS and the World Series.
No, he's got the mentality, too, I mean, of a closer. I mean, he is all business. You know, he comes in and gets the job done for you night in, night out. You're right. That stretch was a tough stretch, and I think there were some people wondering, is this the guy we want out there for a Game 7 scenario or when it comes to crunch time in the postseason? But he was as good as he's been all season long, and I think, as you mentioned in talking about the MVP, really, because it was so short, because it was just the 4 games, there were so many guys who contributed that I think this was a tough selection. I really do. I mean, I know all the RBIs and everything else, but I think it was not as easy as some other years where guys really stand out and you say, that's the guy.
Well, I always vote for the pitcher. Dennis would have voted the same way, I'm sure. Eck would have gone with Falk.
Yeah, how about you guys, the pitchers? That's shocker. Shocker, you guys.
Go figure. They go with the pitcher over there. But Jerry Remy thought it might be Falk.
Yeah, even Remdog was talking about that.
I think the home run from Walker, you know, he might have had a much better chance. Not that mattered. But if he had run the table in the World Series without giving up a run, I think he probably would have got more attention.
But how about this guy? Did you know, looking at this World Series as a baseball fan, as we all are, and seeing the other ones prior to this, and, you know, you hope for like a 7-game series because you want the excitement of that. As Red Sox fans, not having had the crown at 86 years, did you guys want this? Do you think New England wanted it to go 7 with that drama, or do you think they're happy with 4?
If they are not happy with 4, then
I'll tell you what, I don't think they could have taken another 7-game series.
Somebody said that to me the other night. I was covering my son's hockey practice, and one of the dads said, you know, thank God it was quick because I had nothing left as a fan after that ALCS. He said, imagine if this was going on. Imagine if today was Game 6.
Game 6.
Unbelievable.
And we were still going on with this. I mean, tomorrow could have been Game 7.
I think the sleep deprivation throughout New England had taken its toll on some people, you know?
Productivity in Boston industry was
So,
as different as it was.
so I did not feel badly,
No.
and certainly was happy that they won in 4 because you're right. You don't need that drama, and quite frankly, they were such a better team. I would have been surprised after the way that they were playing that it hadn't ended sooner.
They got the drama out of the way in the delayed sweep, as I heard someone call it, against the Yankees. You had 2 sweeps and a delayed sweep.
I like that.
Because they did win 4 in a row after dropping the 3. We'll take a break, come back. Ness's coverage of the 2004 World Series Championship Rolling Rally for the Boston Red Sox continues.
Get an eyeful of the Hyundai Sonata, named highest-ranked entry midsize car in initial quality by J.D. Power & Associates. The Sonata is handsomely styled.
And we'll be back on ESPN News after this.
You check out the stylish Hyundai Sonata, starting at just $15,549. Hyundai, win. Get a 2004 Hyundai Sonata with up to $3,000 cash back at your local Hyundai dealer.
History happens here.
Going on as we speak, as they are getting towards Copley and the Prudential Center. You know, we talked about some of the guys who received consideration, certainly. You know, Johnny Damon had a horrible World Series for 6 games, but single-handedly made his presence felt in Game 7. That grand slam of Javier Vasquez added another 2-run home run later in the game. Had a .619 slugging percentage in the World Series. This guy has been one of the team's MVP through the regular season and absolutely stepped it up at the biggest of all times through the end of the ALCS and the World Series.
Hits that one down the right field line, deep into the corner, sailing, it is gone, it is a grand slam! Johnny Damon, a grand slam in Game 7. He touches them all, and the Red Sox have blown it open early. Unbelievable. He jumps on another one, deep right. This one is in the upper deck. Johnny Damon, 6 RBIs tonight for the Red Sox, who now lead it 8-1.
Oh, it's the greatest feeling in my career, but I'm so happy for the fans back there in Boston. You know, we have a lot of fans here that believed in us. Everyone back home believed in us, and we got the job done.
And that ball is ripped into right field. Walker is back at the wall. The Red Sox scored first again. What a start. 1-0 Boston here in Game 4.
All right, you can see the Duck Tour parade of champions, the Red Sox Rolling Rally, rolling past the Berkeley Performing Arts Center there on Boylston as they get closer to the Prudential Center. You look at owner John Henry, Chairman Tom Warner just in front of him, as Larry Lucchino there tipping his hat to the crowd as well. These guys came in and their stated mission, if you look at what they set out to accomplish, is exactly what they have accomplished. I mean, they started with a mission of their stated mission in the media guide to field a club worthy of the fans' support. And they certainly did that. To preserve all that's good about Fenway Park and take that experience to a higher level. I don't think anyone would argue that they have done that. And finally, to end the curse of the Bambino and win a world championship for Boston, for New England, and for Red Sox Nation. I'll tell you what, Tukes, there are a lot of teams that would not come out and be upfront about the existence even of an 86-year drought. And these owners embraced their attempt to end that, and congratulations to them for getting it done.
Well, everything has changed, TC, and then, you know, in on that was to market aggressively to a new broad region of Red Sox fans. The Red Sox Nation has grown. Fenway Park is more fan-friendly than it ever has been with the concourses and additions that they made, the marketing scheme, and you're right, to identify that there was a perception of a curse, perhaps. At least they recognized that it had been 86 years and the talk of the curse, that we're going to break that. And the Boston Red Sox did do that. This ownership group was has been incredible. And more things to come, adding more seats, more renovations
Fixing
to
up the
follow.
field, better drainage and so on.
Better drainage system.
They're not letting it up.
No.
I'm looking forward to reading next year's mission statement from the Red Sox.
To do it again.
Well, yeah, and keep Jeter on the golf course. Maybe they'll mention that.
Well, one of the things Theo talked about when he took over was to have a continuum of championship teams. It's not a one-time thing. This is a long-range plan. They have signed players like you see Nixon there. Kapler took less money to come back. They're going to develop farm systems so that they can have players come up through the system that'll be guys like Hanley Ramirez and Abe Alvarez and others that will contribute, and that this will be a continual success story like the Atlanta Braves, who only have won one championship, and that was in '95.
Well, you know, it's funny because every offseason you think Red Sox Nation can't get any bigger. You know, I think over the last couple of years, when you go back to when they brought Manny in originally, I mean, I think that and talking to Jerry about it, of course, you know, back in 1978, there was great anticipation. But it seems like over the last few years here, it has really grown.
Well, have you seen the crowds change in the last 4 years?
It was sellouts, yeah, every day.
On the road.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think larger crowds on the road, people coming up saying, hey, I can't get a ticket at Fenway Park, but I get a ticket here in San Francisco or Kansas City or wherever else. So, I mean, this is just a great moment for all Red Sox fans, and I think Petey, his little dance at the rally started it for Petey today, and I think he's going to be like this.
I don't think he'll be done dancing until he gets back to the Dominican Republic. You saw Derek Lowe next to him. Again, I said it early on in this broadcast today. He was the personification of how this team redeemed itself, if you will, after falling down 3-0. You know, he was buried deep in the bullpen and winds up being the first pitcher in Major League history to be the winning pitcher in 3 clinching games.
Good breaking ball. Got him looking for strike 3. Swing and a miss. He came back and he struck out Cairo. Swing and a foul tip to the net for strike 3. One more out and that changes. Ground ball in the infield. And in the American League, Boston is second to none. The Red Sox have done it. They've pulled off the miracle. The most stunning comeback in baseball history.
It's unbelievable, you know, and I just remember walking into that office in Baltimore where I was told I was going to the pen, and to have to be, you know, standing where I am today, it's a lot of guys, you know, I give Wakefield credit for pitching the bullpen in Game 3 to give me a start.
Back to full. Red Sox fans have longed to hear it. The Boston Red Sox are world champions.
I really hope New England really enjoys this because, you know, I know they've been through a lot of hard times, and, you know, we found a way to finally bring the World Series back to Boston.
Well, Derek Lowe, an unbelievable story, as this has been an unbelievable story, and you can see looking down, that's a great shot right there, coming down Boylston. Wow. Not just the number of fans, but look at the electricity. I mean, just millions of people out there jumping up and down right now. It's unbelievable.
I think it's funny because I heard from people who are traveling all day, you know, to get here, people flying from all over the country. I mean, Red Sox Nation extends beyond just New England. I mean, it really is incredible, the people that have transplanted from the area to different places. They come back here for this, waiting to find out. And again, as we talked about earlier, the fact that they extended this route is outstanding for everybody.
You know, and it's bring up a great point, because one of the neat things, I think, for all of us being involved in this, but for all Red Sox fans, is the people we've heard from over the last 48 hours. I've been getting calls from friends across the country saying, isn't this amazing? A friend who lives in Chicago who's a Cubs fan saying, we're living through you guys now, because maybe it'll happen for us someday. You know, Yankee fans who've called and said, you know, got to tip our cap. You know, your team got it done.
You talk to different fans. Well, how do you feel now? And they say, I don't know. You know, what do you do with this? You know, it's like they don't know where to go from here. I mean, this is something that some people never saw in their lifetime. And here, you know, it has happened. And now, I guess what you look for now is more. We want more.
Yeah, I'm willing to try.
Yeah.
I think we'll be able to figure out a way to deal with this.
Many more.
Well, you know, it could be the string like the Patriots. You know, the Patriots won theirs, and they've got a system there that right now still undefeated, 2 Super Bowls in 3 years, got a big game tomorrow, and, you know, they're on a roll, and they've kind of created that perception of a championship. Not even a perception, it's a reality. That's a championship team, championship organization, and the Red Sox are right in line with that, right from the top down.
Yeah, and that's you know, I think that's the exact blueprint you want to follow. They won their first, didn't do it the second year, obviously, but reloaded, kept going, and you win 2 out of 3. They're unbeaten now. And how about that? You know, until the 2001 Patriots won the Super Bowl, we were sitting here talking about it had been 1986 since anybody won a championship here at the Celtics. And that was a year where everybody was sort of, the Bruins had a pretty good season, but they were going to be in the finals a couple years later. Pats went to the Super Bowl, Celtics won it all, and you know what happened to the Red Sox in '86? I mean,
we were in Loserville there for a little while.
And then since then, that was it. I mean, essentially, since the Celtics won that spring, we've gone 15 seasons between those 4 teams. So that's 59 to be exact, because baseball missed the World Series. 59 championships that Boston didn't win. And that's hard to do. I mean, it's hard to win a championship, but it's hard to not get close to one. And now, the first city in 25 years to win the Super Bowl and World Series in the same calendar year. The Pittsburgh Steelers and Pirates in 1979, the last team to do that. So we're talking about uncharted territory here as the Red Sox. Yeah, what? Did they have... When was the car invented? When did they start driving motorized vehicles? I'm sure they were before 1918.
1898.
I'll have to get Paul Carolyn. Did they have a parade in 1918? I don't know.
Maybe they walked it.
But I guarantee they weren't duck utility vehicles.
No, I'm pretty sure.
That's pretty sure.
That's what they've got today, and you can see how much fun they're having out there. We'll be back with more coverage of the 2004 Rolling Rally after this.
Number 1. What does it take to be number 1? 2 is not a winner. 3, nobody remembers. What does it take to be?
All season long, Kurt Schilling proved that he's willing to do whatever it takes to win. He showed that he's got the heart of a champion, and he's built tough. The results? A world championship. Hard work does pay off. And right now, for 3 days only, get $500 Ford Credit Red Sox fan bonus cash on the hard-working Ford F-150. That's up to $6,745 total savings.
Only for New England Ford dealer.
Who's your daddy now?
Hello. Hi, how are you? Grand opening has some samples. Hey.
Hello.
Yeah, I'm okay. Grand opening.
Foxwoods Resort Casino. 80 poker tables. A charter member of the World Poker Tour. Come to Foxwoods and check out the latest. Our new Hard Rock Cafe.
So, Mr. Ramirez, you know what you want? Mr. Ramirez. Manny? Man.
Yeah, take that.
Major League Baseball Authentic Collection. Size 11.
Yeah, exactly.
Good choice. Series MVP, huh?
Yeah.
I see the Rolling Rally rolling on. I guess that must be the back end of it. I'm guessing. Is that all of it? Are we looking at like the entire?
I think so.
Think so?
Yeah, I think it
I think
goes
that's
way
17
up.
duck utility vehicles.
Well, I think it's extended quite a
I don't
ways
know.
up
I mean,
there,
there's
guys.
people out on the road down beyond.
Bit of a stoppage here, though.
Yeah, there's not a lot of rolling. There's a lot of rallying.
Less rolling.
There's a lot of rallying. Not as much rolling going on right now. It looks as though the fans have sort of gone up to the procession.
You know, they had microphones and stuff on there, too, so that they could talk to some of the fans
Right,
along the way. So I think they're stopping at different points to talk to the fans
Well,
as well.
that is the idea of the rolling rally, as opposed to a parade. I mean, it's not just the terminology. It's because there is no rally at City Hall Plaza at the end. So what they're doing is exactly what you said, stopping along the way, talking to the fans, having fun. I know they're at the front end, so I think they are broken up because I think we just saw some of the boats rolling, and these are not rolling. So I think that's what's happening is these guys have stopped.
Start to chat a bit.
Talked a little bit. We can see the front edge of it. At least the police leading the pack have gotten into Copley Square. That's where Eric Freed is. Fredo, can you hear us? Eric Freed, can you hear us out there?
Tom Karen, I can hear you just fine.
I think they're getting
the
close
rolling
to
has
you.
stopped for the motorcycle escort as well right now. So, we keep looking, craning our necks up, and I can make out possibly the first duck boat making its way towards Copley Square here, down at probably at the corner of Exeter and Boylston right now. But you see this crowd around here. They saw the flashing lights of the motorcycles. That got them pretty excited. So it's getting closer. The rain is continuing. It's not as heavy, but we can see the top of the Prue and the top of the Hancock Tower. So that's an encouraging sign. We couldn't see that a little while ago.
Fredo, how's the rain?
Waiting for the rally to get here.
Fran, is it still raining there, Eric, or no?
It's a Scotch mist right now, too. It's
a
cold.
Scotch mist.
Yeah.
And that was Don Orsillo, by the way.
Oh, Don, I'm sorry, Don.
It's all right, Fredo.
I still have champagne clogged in my ear canal from the celebration the other day, so I can't differentiate. I hear the crowd now. They must see something that we can't yet. We got folks climbing trees here on Boylston Street. We've got people on top of buildings up and down Boylston Street. We got people sitting on shoulders here on Boylston Street as the first duck boat is starting to inch its way towards Copley Square.
Yeah, Eric, behind you, or off to the side of you, apparently, we can see people sitting up in the windows and in the archways. I believe that's the public library you're in front of,
That
right?
is public library, Tom. You're exactly right. They're all up the sidewalk. They're halfway up Dartmouth trying to get a look, and the folks up there are going to get a passing glance at what goes by. You can see the Red Sox flag, the Dominican flag going by, and we begin to see the first boat come into view. The first amphibious vehicle will be coming into view momentarily.
Amphibious vehicle, I like
that's
that.
What it is. It is an amphibious vehicle.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just trying to go with the company line right here. But
I like that.
We've been going with duck utility vehicles. They're DUVs.
It's a good thing they're amphibious because it's wet out here right now. But the first one coming into view, they're wisely covered here today.
I think you'll see
You're going to see it in 1 second, Tom.
Yeah, I think you're going to see the alumni. I think that's the first boat, which, again, we've been talking about, Fredo, just another great touch by the Red Sox to bring a bunch of the guys who have meant so much to these fans together to celebrate with the current team.
And you know, Tom, right after the win against the Yankees, some of the first comments we heard from Theo Epstein, as you see that first vehicle come into view, some of the first comments were this was a win for those who hadn't gotten that far in the past, who came up just short. And now they have a chance to share in the celebration. And they're also sharing it with a lot of the front office staff and the folks who work behind the scenes for the Red Sox, trying to make sure that the Fenway experience is a fun one. And many of these employees are flown down for Game 3 of the World Series down to St. Louis. A bit of a surprise to some of them, but John Henry putting them on the plane so everybody could get down to St. Louis and enjoy a couple of days.
Yeah, that was
the World Series.
That was the front office duck boat coming through, and you'll see the alumni one in a couple of moments behind that.
Well, there's a lot of confetti, which is a nice touch here, too. So some's being thrown from the buildings. This isn't really the Canyon of Heroes Boston edition, but it's close enough here today as the crowd making some noise here. They're probably recognizing some of the fans, some of the players coming by. Yeah, there we see some of the alums. Butch Hobson rolling up in the front seat. I see Jim Corsi. I see Louis Tiant. Some of these people who have been part of the Red Sox. And before Joe Morgan, we saw him for Game 2 of the World Series. He couldn't believe what he was seeing. He gives a little wave to the crowd. You see the names as they go by. Eno Guerrero, who helps out with the Sox on a daily basis. And now some of the players coming into view. Johnny Damon. There you see Johnny. The crowd didn't have any trouble picking Johnny out. Dave McCarty's there as well. There's Mark Bellhorn as he passes by. Some of the players, as you mentioned before, Tom, having an opportunity to share this moment with their families. Philip Morse, one of the owners of the Sox. There's Larry Lucchino with a microphone in his hand. giving out messages to the crowd here. Many of the Red Sox partners having a chance to be a part of this parade. And as you can imagine, tons of photographers. There's the trophy. In this orange boat right here, the crowd are getting a view of the World Series trophy. There it is.
See Manny's sign yet, Frito?
Held up high, Kevin Millar. Kevin, how are you? Congratulations. Manny Ramirez. You see the Jeters playing golf sign. Doug Mankiewicz. Theo Epstein living it up. You know, it's a good idea. It's a good idea with the microphone. Terry Francona pumping his fist. Congratulations, Terry. Here come some of the other players. One of the unsung heroes, Jim Rowan, the red jacket, the head trainer for the Red Sox. Kept everybody in shape. Jim, congratulations to you. I will call you. Nathan Levangie, Bill Hasselman, all living it up. What a celebration. The crowd is deafening out here in Copley Square. It's amazing, and the smiles that you see on all the players and all the staff and all the people helping out, it's amazing as well. You see Gabe Kapler. It's amazing. Amazing as well. You see Gabe Kapler made a contribution, and talk about the contributions made by that man right there, Derek Lowe, the winning pitcher in the clinching game in the American League Division Series, the Championship Series, and the World Series. An amazing feat as Derek Lowe enjoys the celebration here. Tim Wakefield, the longest tenured member of the Red Sox, been with this franchise for a decade. Pedro Martinez right there celebrating with Derek Lowe. Derek Lowe, Pedro, Tim Wakefield, enjoying the moment here. Jerry Remy was, oh, Jerry in fast company up there. Pedro, Derek Lowe, Tim Wakefield. How do you get on that duck boat? Some of the supporting cast, Mike Myers, came over in a trade with Seattle in August. Came out of the bullpen. Here's Ellis Burks. Ellis Burks, how are you? Such a part of this Red Sox team, even though he was injured for much of the year. Made great contributions. Now the familiar cornrows of Bronson Arroyo, Keith Folk. Andrews up there. One of the happiest guys at Fenway Park, Alan Embry. This crowd is now 20 deep on both sides of Boylston Street, hanging out of windows, on top of buildings, throwing confetti down. Being a part of this wait for a lifetime celebration. No question about that. The rally rolls right on through. The last few duck boats and the fans that started turning out here about 6 a.m., 6:30 in the morning, they've watched it all pass through. And it's only fitting, I guess, that Wally is the one bringing up the rear.
Go on camera.
Amazing. I can barely hear myself right now. Just to watch, and we've seen this for the last month, Tom, just the smiles on people's faces, you know, when they had their way with Anaheim and then the great comeback down their final 3 outs against the New York Yankees. I'll never forget the moment in Game 3 when the Sox were down 19-8, the park being empty, the next night the Sox come back, and we all know how it ended up with the sweep of the St. Louis Cardinals and just the joyous celebration that continues here. This isn't the end. You have a feeling this is going to go on for a long time. So the rain stopped at a perfect time, too, as the duck boats made their way through Boylston, through Copley, and they're making on their way down towards that dirty water. Fans loving it here. I have a feeling they're going to make it down to the Charles. I may make it down there, too. Tom, back to you.
Great job, Frito. I know it's loud out there and it's a little bit crazy. Eric Fried reporting from Copley Square as the parade of champions just went through there. The rolling rally rolls on through Boston, and our coverage rolls on as well. It is the 2004 Boston Red Sox World Championship Rally, rolling style, a rolling rally here on NESN.
The Hyundai Elantra will win you over. Loaded with standard features like
number limited 1,000. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. It's available for $129.95 plus $20 shipping and handling. These bats are designed and engraved here in Massachusetts. And if you want one, call Hamster Direct at 866-280-BATS or log on to hamsterdirect.com. Louisville Slugger is the official bat of Major League Baseball. And the Boston Red Sox are the official champions of Major League Baseball as they have moved beyond Copley, at least the lead portion of the parade. I mean, from what we could see it going by Eric Fried, it is one unit. This is, one group that rolls on through.
Yeah, I think it's interesting, too, because you didn't know how they do it. You didn't know coming in whether or not they would break them up and put them in different sections, and the way they left Fenway Park was pretty much bunched together, and that's the way they're coming through here for the most part. Now, Eric was where? He was at Copley? Is that where he was? So Eric Fried was somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, Copley Square.
Copley Square, so...
Over by the Boston Public Library.
So basically they've come about, what, halfway almost then? Maybe more.
Yeah, I think that's about fair. Probably, they'll be getting towards the end of their Boylston portion, snaking around Boston Common, then heading up to City Hall Plaza, up the hill and down the hill, as it turns out, and then splashing into the water somewhere beyond City Hall Plaza. We'll check in with Hazel May in just a little bit. Right now, just enjoying the celebration of today and the days past.
that. Give a shot with that. That's right. That's right. That's right. Good.
How about that? The World Series Championship trophy sitting in the Red Sox locker room. It sounds pretty good. Don, you were on that flight home, and we talked about it earlier today. Just those had to be the great. As exhausted as everybody was, those moments, landing in Boston, seeing the excitement, had to be the best.
The moments were, Tom. Everybody says, what was the flight like coming back, or the guys really partying? I will be completely honest with you. By the time we got on the flight, it was close to 4 a.m. Eastern time, and the guys slept. It was the quietest flight we had seen all year long.
I want to cut you off there, Don. I want to cut you off there because I've seen you on a flight, and are you sure they did, or was it just that you were out? Don's one of the few people I've ever seen. Don, you can sleep through takeoff and landing.
And my neck is in a very rough shape. I mean, but no, they were absolutely. It was the quietest I had ever heard the flight guys. Basically, I think. Just it all hit them, as tired as they were throughout the entire playoffs, everybody slept. It was the quietest plane coming home. When they got home, it seemed like everybody was back up again and fired up, but it was an extremely quiet flight coming back.
Well, you would think just emotionally, just to finally it's over. The whole because you're on guard every day. You're fired up about each day, the stress of each day, and as we all know, stress tires you out. And then the celebration, you saw the game balls that were in the Red Sox locker room. The players have had to sign. I can't imagine how many baseballs have had to sign, and rightfully so. And you hope that most of the players did sign those, because those will go out to charities or various organizations to help raise money and to be a keepsake.
All right, the parade rolls on here as the rolling rally continues, heading towards the Common now as they get closer. We'll be checking in with Hazel May, who's along the route in just a little bit. Our coverage continues on NESN.
The 2005 Ford Ranger comes
now as they get closer. We'll be checking in with Hazel May, who's along the route in just a little bit. Our coverage continues on NESN.
More live coverage as the Red Sox celebrate a world championship coming up on ESPN News. Keep it here.
Today I'm here with Mark and Jeff.
only at your New England Ford dealer.
So, Mr. Ramirez, you know what you want? Mr. Ramirez. Manny? Man.
Yeah, take that.
Major League Baseball Authentic Collection. Size 11.
Yeah, exactly.
Good choice. Series MVP, huh?
Yeah.
Well, you look at it, and I don't want to lose sight of how exciting this is because, you know, we've had these pictures up for whatever, an hour or so they've been rolling, and you can start to say, you know, it's sort of more of the same. But, you know, if you're standing at this part of the route, you haven't seen it yet. And this is as exciting to you now as it was to the people in Copley before that and the people at the Fenway Park before that.
And for some of these people, they've been there since 4 this morning getting ready for this. I mean, people have been out there forever waiting for this opportunity to be close, to be up front, because as you can see, that's going pretty deep. You know, what did we talk about earlier? The original parade route, they're going to have to be about 200 deep. Well, they're pretty deep right there. I mean, that's pretty deep.
Spread out. It'll be, well, everyone always wondered, you know, what would it be like if the Red Sox won? What would it be like? Well, now we're finding out. It is a deliriously happy fans, and you know, you wonder, you know, as they went through Copley, guys, when the parade ended, what the felt like was like, wow, now what?
Yeah, the parade's gone.
They're gone. They're here. They're gone. That was great, but now what? And again, it's kind of like the postseason because it did happen rather quickly, although it was spread out over a month. Very dramatic through the Yankees series. you know, the excitement of being in the World Series, and then that's over. And people are wondering, they're all turning, I've had several people turn the NESN looking for a ball game.
Somebody said to me the other night, what do we do now? I've been watching this every night. You know what I mean? You're staying up till midnight, 1 o'clock every night. All of a sudden now, you're watching sitcoms and
can
going
watch
to bed at normal
Sports
time.
Desk and,
talking to
keep
your
watching.
wives and kids. I mean, that's hard.
It is.
Who are you?
No, we're kidding. How have you been? I've been down at the den watching baseball for the last month.
Well, for the players, too. I mean, at this point now, after today, this is really the last official thing they're going to have to do.
They want to go home.
Now they break off and go home. All over the world, really. David Ortiz going back to the Dominican, which I thought was also very cool as part of the rally today. The general counsel of the Dominican was there, and they're going to have a parade back in the Dominican for Pedro and for David Ortiz.
And we don't have the details yet, but there will be championship celebrations, I believe, in all 6 New England states. They're talking even beyond the 6 New England states. So Red Sox Nation, as you said, something tells me that trophy's going to end up at Sonny McLean's in Santa Barbara at some point in time, and the Riviera Cafe in New York. It's going to make all the stops. Certainly, we've been talking about some of the individual heroes of this World Championship run, and they don't get more heroic than what pitcher Curt Schilling has been able to accomplish, overcoming the physical adversity and winning some key games and helping lead this team to the end of an 86-year championship drought.
0-2. Swung on and missed to change of pace as Schilling fans Larry Walker. Swing and a miss. Down to swing and miss and strike out. Swing and a miss. He gets Walker.
We were down 3-0 to the Yankees, 3 outs away from going home against Mariano Rivera. 12 days later, we're world champs, and the stuff that happened in that 12 days, I think, is going to go down to some of the greatest postseason baseball in the history of the game.
For the first time in 86 years, the Red Sox have won baseball world championship. Can you believe it?
Well, Curt Schilling's legacy certainly stepped up a notch over this postseason, and he was upfront about it. You remember the commercial? Going to break an 86-year-old curse. Well, you know what?
He did.
He and the Red Sox did.
I remember seeing that and going, wow, what is this guy doing? Yeah, how to bring it on yourself to a new city. He was signed by the Red Sox and know the history as a baseball historian of sorts, and to bring that type of pressure on yourself, he walked the talk, guys, and he did what he said he was going to do. And, Donnie had alluded to, this is a collective last probably the time the players will all be together. And, as a player, the season, when it ends at the beginning of October, is long enough as it is, because you start training, some guys start in November, some guys start in December, but you had the spring training February 15th. And as you know, you're down there often, and when TC was here for every game during the season, there's not many days off during the baseball season, and so now they're going to go home, and it's going to be early November, and they're home, and the winter goes so fast. Before you know it, the Thanksgiving, boom, it's Christmas, New Year's, and now you're going to spring training, and these guys are all going to be asked to speak at the local Little League or this or that. They're going to be asked to fly to different, Johnny's going to Letterman, Schilling and Pedro have been to Disney World. This offseason is going to be the shortest that they'll ever remember, and that's what makes it hard for them to come to spring training. At some point, they've got to say, look, I got to get ready for the 2005 season.
Yeah, didn't I read, too, that you'd be appearing in The Real World, I think, on MTV? I read that.
You'd be good on that, too.
You think so?
We talked about places where the rolling rally has rolled through and it's sort of being over. There are still places where tens of thousands of people have yet to see a Duck utility vehicle, including Tremont Street and beyond down the City Hall Plaza. That's where Hazel May is standing by.
Hi, TC. Yes, we are minutes away from the rolling rally to come here at the corner of Cambridge Street and New Chardon. As you can hear, the excitement is building. We've got Boston's finest behind me, and it looks like the parade is minutes away now. There needs to be a lot of cooperation here because the streets are bulging now. There's prime real estate to be had, and you have to be up and early to get here, as you'll hear from the fans who were the early birds this morning.
Got up at 4:30 this morning. We got here about 6:30.
from Amesbury?
We all left from Connecticut because that's where we go to school, so we left at 3 this morning.
Left here at about 11:15, got here around 2:30, and we came to the line at about 5.
So what did you do between 2:30 and 5?
We tried to
Slept in the
sleep.
parking garage.
Daryl Bourbeau. I'm from Titusville, Florida.
I'm Brandon Nagel, and I'm from Reading, Massachusetts.
Al Bourbeau from Titusville, Florida. Yeah, we came up Friday morning. We left about 6:30. Got up here about 10:45. We were at San Tapio's by 11:30.
We left our house at 4 o'clock. Yeah, we've been here for a while.
This is history right here. This is 86 years in the making. These guys are lucky they get to see it. They're 11 years old. We've been waiting for a long time for this. It's a once in a lifetime deal right now. When we get 20 more, we'll be here 20 more times. We'll keep coming.
I've been waiting for this forever. I was just I just wanted to be here. I had to be here. Just had to be here.
Now, I thought I was up pretty early. As you can tell, Red Sox Nation was up and early to make sure they got a spot to say hello to their Red Sox heroes when they come by. They are minutes away. Everybody's very excited, and the wait will definitely be worth it when they come around here at the corner of Cambridge Street and New Chardon. Back to you, TC.
All right, Hazel, great job. We'll check back with you in a little bit as they come rolling by here as you get some live shots. Jim Corsi up there enjoying the moment. Former Red Sox pitcher, former Nesson analyst, representing us down there. As you can see, Tim Lynn and Arroyo, Keith Folk, all down there as well. I thought Hazel had the good Edward R. Murrow look going, too. With
Hold the earpiece?
Finger up to the earpiece. Yeah. Very, old, newsy.
I like that.
Yeah. Well, you can only imagine how loud it is down there. Because it was loud at Fenway when it started.
Well, you can hear the applause just get louder and louder as the anticipation comes with the, what do we call them?
Duck utility vehicles.
Duck utility
amphibious vehicles.
Amphibious duck utility vehicles rolling toward.
Now, what is that on the street?
City Plaza.
It looks like snow, but I don't think it is.
Not ready for that.
No.
Well,
but it's
By the way,
coming
did anybody notice it's fall? I don't know if you guys missed it.
Did you miss the leaves change?
I missed the leaves falling. There's 3 feet of leaves in my backyard that I haven't quite gotten around to yet.
Well, you think about the World Series, Game 7 would be Halloween if that had gone 7 games. Game 7 used to be about the first week in October.
Yeah, we were looking earlier at some of the classic finishes for the Boston Red Sox, when they went deep into the World Series. Game 7 of the 1967 World Series was October 12th. That was Game 7 of the World Series. 1918 went 6. That went to the 11th of September. So
how about the other teams?
A little shorter down
Thinking about the guys at the end of the year, they haven't played in a month. There's been other.
It was a great point. You talk about the postseason. Yeah. You talk about that with any sport. I've talked to hockey players over the years. One of the real challenges when you win a world championship or go to the end, St. Louis went just as far and didn't win the world championship. Right. Maybe it's harder to them, but is being ready for next season because you're used to X amount of time and you've literally lost a month of it, and that's about a third of the downtime you have.
Well, before they get home, get settled in, relax. Remember, you got to go home and see your family, your friends, your hometown. You got to go through all this again in that venue. Thanksgiving comes, then now you're starting to really relax into December, and then you think, I got to start working out here. And then Christmas comes, you take a week off, January, and as I said, this will come very quickly, but it's something that, it's part of it's not that, I don't know if it's a downside of a championship, because I don't know if there is a downside to it, but certainly it's something the players will have to adjust as they move forward to 05.
All right, they are getting closer to City Hall Plaza as this rolls on, the rolling rally honoring the 2004 world champion Boston Red Sox.
Go around the world and get back into college. Get inside the NBA and go way outside. Get the widest variety of sports in Sports Pack with over 25 specialty and regional sports networks, all for only $12 or less per month. Order now at directv.com or call 1-800-DIRECTV.
Gentlemen, it's true. NBA League Pass can get you up to 40 games per week. Elton, can I watch the Clippers play if I live in Kalamazoo?
With NBA League Pass, you can.
Ron, what's the League Pass motto?
Come on, Artest, you know this.
Closing is the key to success, and never forget it, guys.
Order now and save $20 off the regular season price. Call 1-800-GET-SPORTS, tune to Channel 216, or visit directtv.com.
Stupid, stupid, stupid.
Swing and a drive. Deep right. Way back Sheffield. It's gone. The Red Sox have won it.
All I remember is the third loss that we have against the Yankees. I look at people's faces, and I saw a lot of people crying, and I keep that in my heart. So now that we got to this point, I hope that all them people that we saw crying, they be laughing and enjoying this because they deserve this. They cry because they respect one of this one from us. Now that they have it, I hope they enjoy it for life.
Swings and drives this one. Hooked toward the foul pole. Is it fair or foul? It is gone. It's a home run for David Ortiz.
Big Papi, and there he is, enjoying every minute of it. The ALCS MVP, Senor October, as people have started to call him. And didn't need his heroics in the World Series, thankfully, but when you can walk off the field after an at-bat in 3 postseason games, you've done something special.
It's an amazing story. I mean, this is a guy that really Minnesota at the end kind of didn't want him. I mean, they couldn't afford to bring him back. He was coming here to Boston in the beginning with the Red Sox, didn't have a lot of playing time. The whole Shea Hillenbrand situation in the beginning, he ends up being traded away. Ortiz gets a chance to play every day. And the Red Sox, not only did they at the time wrap him up at the time, but now all of a sudden you got a new contract for him, and really for short money at the end. I mean, you take a look at this guy. I mean, this guy is an MVP type guy.
If he was a free agent this year, Donnie, his salary it jumped up anyway, but it would have been a huge jump. David Ortiz was a teammate of mine in '97 and '98.
He goes back that far?
And he was he was in Minnesota, and TK. He didn't play defense at first base. TK, Tom Kelly, the manager of the Twins, is a big defensive guy. And Doug Minkiewicz was in that group, Corey Koski, Todd Walker, and Ortiz. And they really had a hard time adjusting to Tom Kelly and his expectations of a young player. And David kind of had a falling out, and then he got hurt. He hurt his wrist. He had wrist surgery. But I do remember the hitting coach for the Twins making the comment. We were in Kaminsky, I don't know what it's called now, and he made the comment, this is the strongest guy in baseball. He's going to be a tremendous power hitter if he can just learn to make more contact and stays healthy. Well, he goes to plays winter ball, becomes the MVP of the Caribbean World Series. The Red Sox sign him for nothing, essentially, bring him here, and as you said, Donnie, he doesn't play early. Then he gets the shot, and he has an offensive year ungodly last year. That was a big question. Can this team match the 2003 team offensively? Everyone had career years, David being one of them. He surpassed that.
You brought up his time in Minnesota, and I've read some accounts where essentially Tom Kelly and a lot of the Minnesota Twins management wanted him to, you mentioned, make contact. They wanted him to adjust his swing and be more of a contact hitter. And they didn't want him with that big uppercut swing. And he came here and they said, just relax and do what you do. And what he has done is perfect that uppercut swing that allows him to use the wall so
That's
often,
what I was going
but
to say.
He can also pull one over to the right field.
Yeah, he's gotten quicker on the inner half of the plate, in my opinion, but he's so dangerous because of being quick on the inside. If you go away from him and you elevate the ball at all, he can hit it over the wall or at least onto it. So he's just deadly at Fenway. How about Kevin Youkilis? You saw Youkilis waving the trophy, and here's a guy that, the Red Sox signed him with a purpose, who undrafted out of Cincinnati. Saw him make his way up, on-base percentage not a guy that you would go see and say, look, this guy's a great player. But what he does over the course of the season, and he fit in nicely when Billy Miller went down, and he did a great job.
How about his first season? That's going to be tough to beat. Your first major league hit's a home run.
That's right.
And then you hang around all season long. You get a chance to play more. Bill Miller going down. You play quite a bit. And then you're back here for this. I mean,
and you're on the World Series roster.
On the 25-man roster in the 100th World Series. Not bad stuff. They are making their way towards City Hall Plaza and beyond now. Hazel May's down there in the middle of it. Hazel, have they reached you yet?
They have. Thanks, TC. They have reached the corner of Cambridge Street and New Chardon. As you can hear, it is absolutely electric down here. Mr. Lucchino and Mr. Werner passing by, waving. We've got right behind them the Red Sox partners. Got to give props to those guys. It's amazing. We've got a lot of people running down from behind the State House to get a second glimpse at the rally. They were out by Tremont Street and now racing back so they can get another look at their Red Sox heroes. We got David Ortiz, Orlando Cabrera, Kevin Millar. What would a parade be without Kevin Millar? And behind him, Theo Epstein and Terry Francona. Everybody is just waving and big smiles. Come on, Terry. Big smile, Terry. Behind Terry, we've got the coaches. Can't forget about the coaches. There's Millsy. We've got Dave Wallace. Everybody looking this way. Hi, fellas. There you go. We got a big point there from Millsy. And then Jason Varitek on his way. Jason Varitek electing to go and sit or stand in the front of the boat, making sure everybody gets a look at him and how huge has he been for the Red Sox. And right behind them, Derek Lowe, Pedro Martinez, Kurt Schilling, and Wake. Big wave over for this side of the crowd. Hey, there's Rem Dog. How did Rem Dog get up there? And behind Rem Dog, we've got more pitchers. Piscanic, we've got Mike Myers behind them. Everybody just having such an awesome time. Can you still hear me over there, Tom?
We do. You're sounding good. It's
Okay. We've got Ricky Gutierrez, Adam Hayes, dude. We got the World Series trophy on that duck tour. And Mike Timlin following right behind him with Keith Folk, who I think Rem Dog thought would definitely be the MVP for this Red Sox team. And we've got the rest of the Boston Red Sox front office, and boy, oh boy, they're the unsung heroes as well. And it looks like the duck tour is winding down at the corner of Cambridge Street and New Chardon. They're going to head down to the Charles River, about a half mile from where we are, and disperse just like 007. Tom, how's it going over there?
Hey, Hazel, I want to ask you, we saw some shots from around your way of fans sort of running in a location. When we went to you earlier, there weren't that many fans around you. Were they trying to get a different vantage point and then run back over here to get a double look at them?
Absolutely, absolutely. I am seeing a lot of fans actually running down from the state, just behind the State House, after seeing the rally first time around, racing down to get a better look. But I'm telling you, the prime real estate was taken up at this corner as early as 4 o'clock this morning. And it looks like they're going to follow the rally down Cambridge Street and over to the river.
Yeah, get over to City Hall Plaza and the river as well to get another look. All right, Hazel, great job. Thanks.
Thanks, guys.
Hazel May joining us down at the corner of New Chardon and Cambridge Street, as you can see. Crowd all hanging out behind her. They want Hazel to turn around and say a few words and tell them Don Orsillo says hi. That's what I always do when a big crowd like that gathers. I pass on Don Orsillo's greetings. And that seems to always fire them up.
Hey, have you guys talked about the river portion of this, which is coming up soon, and where fans can watch from there? I mean, I don't really know. Can you explain that?
Well, you can anywhere really along the banks of the Charles, out towards a great point, and this is what it really opened up by doing this, down towards the Museum of Science, which is near where they go in. They go in, actually, right around the Museum of Science. And then you can see it sort of comes back all the way to Mass Ave, so almost to Fenway Park. So it's really opened up that entire Boston bank of the Charles and the Cambridge side as well as all those bridges. So it really added a lot of space for fans to watch.
So is it ending back here again? Is that the final point?
No, I think it snakes back to the end of the river, and I think it comes off, and then somehow they're going to try to, I don't know. I don't want to even venture a guess. Well, no, it's a good question because we asked that this morning. It just sort of ends. Maybe they're just going to go out to the Atlantic Ocean and head to the Dominican Republic and have the parade there. Tomorrow, maybe the duck boats are going to head down the East Coast.
95?
Because, there are so many fans in the city looking to get a glimpse and get a piece of all of this that it's kind of hard to sneak a duck tour bus back to some point.
Yeah.
But I'm sure they have that mapped out. They just don't want us to know. It's like we have to get you out the back door so the fans don't get too crazy.
Top secret or solo.
Just like 007, like Hazel said. We're going to take a break and come back and continue our coverage as the dry land training portion of the Rolling Rally is about to come to an end.
All season long, Kurt Schilling proved that he's willing to do whatever it takes to win. He showed that he's got the heart of a champion, and he's built tough. The results? A world championship. Hard work does pay off. And right now, for 3 days only, get $500 Ford Credit Red Sox fan bonus cash on the hard-working Ford F-150.
Manny go to get their hair done. It doesn't work. Bronson Arroyo they brought in there to get those cornrows put in as well. But they are so proud of these ball players. Here they are living in another country, but they can associate with these guys on such a personal level and really embrace their culture, their heritage, and it's a fantastic moment. You're seeing a lot of people, and it doesn't matter. You're a Red Sox fan,
Yeah, Mike Giardi, I think, talked about it. That it brings it cross cultures, cross religions.
Great sign right here.
There.
Guys, we just had a scary moment over here. One of the street lights was toppled across the street from us on Cambridge on the corner. I don't know, we're pretty far away, so I don't know if anyone's hurt. Police officer over on the scene right now, but there's just so many people, and they're trying to get a vantage point. They're trying to hike themselves up in spots where they can see better, and hopefully everybody's okay there and nobody's hurt. There's a lot of people standing around right now. A police officer is over there on the scene, so hopefully everything's okay.
There are numerous police officers and a couple of police vehicles as well, so we can't really see from this vantage point if everybody's okay, but there is a gathering on the other side of the crowd that's immediately in front of us.
Hey, Amanda and Mike, was it one of the street lights that we can see in a shot here that has like glass balls, white opaque balls at the top of it? One of those street lights? Or was it
No, the actual street, red, green, yellow, those street lights. One of those went down.
with the banners on them? Oh, one of the traffic lights. I got you.
Yeah, traffic light.
So they were climbing up, trying to get onto the traffic light to hang onto it.
Yeah, and it fell right over. Heard a big thud. Again, I don't see any emergency people over there, so hopefully everything is okay and people got out of the way quick enough.
Well, certainly the potential for something terrible to happen doesn't exist.
There's a sea of people, an unbelievable amount of people pressing up on the area where we are, now walking down the street following the parade route, and of course treating us to that wonderful cheer. I don't know when we're going to get over that. They should change the cheer now to 2000 because that's the last time the Yankees won it, and the Red Sox have as many world championships in this century as the New York Yankees.
Yeah, Jimmy, I was looking at one of the signs there. It said, "Reverse my curse, Bronson Arroyo, marry me." Couldn't help but get a little chuckle on that one. But I'll tell you, boy, you look over here, and you're looking down into the Government Center area there. City Hall Plaza in the background on the right side of your screen. And it is just a sea of humanity, as you might expect when the Red Sox have a victory parade for their first World Championship in 86 years. We all wondered what this day would be like, and I think it's met a lot of expectations as far as the amount of interest.
I don't think
and they certainly exceeded those expectations in a number of fronts as well.
No question about that. And one of the things that we talked about is where, once that rolling rally goes by, where the crowd is going to go to. Are they going to run to the banks of the Charles River and try to pick up a little bit more of this parade, a rolling rally, or are they going to try to make their way out of Boston?
Exactly right. It's going to be interesting to see what the banks of the Charles River look like as they move on down and put those duck boats into the water and start going up the Boston side of the Charles River. Appropriate if you think about it. You know, the Standells' old hit, you know, Boston, you're my home, love that dirty water. They're going to be in it.
As I know you hopscotched across the country in this business, so did I, and whenever I'd hear that song.
Brought you right home, didn't it?
Think of home. Think of the Red Sox. Think of a world champion.
I don't know if I ever thought of it. I hope for it. To see it and see this. The pictures describe it the best. We can talk all we want, but when you see the folks out there and reveling in the moment and the players taking it all in as well, it's incredible. And I can't help but think, again, what a great decision it was to have this on a Saturday so that the kids could get out, the youngsters could get out with their parents. Because baseball is such a family sport. I mean, you know, your parents bring you when you're a child. You talk with your dad. I know I've called my father. He's down in Florida. He watched these games at home down there. And, you know, you just relive instances in the ball game. What would you have done? Wasn't this a great move? Wasn't this a terrible move? But wasn't it great to see him finally do it? And it's spanned the generations, as it's been talked about really since Wednesday. It's been fantastic, and pretty much from the time they...
Our live coverage of the World Series parade in Boston.
Kapler. They traded for Mirabelli, who's an incredible backup and asset to this club. So they will fill the gaps, and they will be competitive. And you know, even say, just for example, and not to go down this path too far, but just say that they lose Lowe and Pedro. They still have 3 starters back from the rotation that are pretty good. Didn't miss a start all year. If you add up their combined wins with 21, 10, and Wakefield won, 12, I guess. That's 43 wins from those 3 guys. So you start to add some more innings and stuff, and they will fill those spots with people who can do the job as well.
I think both Pedro and Derek Lowe would like to come back. I mean, I think we've heard the last couple days that Derek Lowe would like to come back if given the opportunity. I think it may be hard to sign both. I think that, what Derek Lowe did in the postseason certainly is going to help his number. Had he ended the season the way he had gone through the regular season, it might not have been as much financially, but now the way he finished off as strong as he did in the postseason, you're looking at a higher number to sign Derek Lowe.
Well, you take a look at some of the creative signs that fans have made out there and some of the creative places fans have found to watch this all from. The Rolling Rally rolling on, and our coverage rolling on as well here on NESN.
And I'm not ashamed to say the Wild Boys were my friends. Oh, 'cause I've never felt...
Ford Explorer.
Make your body happy. Drink more water. Aquafina.
Welcome back to ESPN News. We continue our live coverage of the World Series parade in Boston by going out to our friends at New England Cable News.
With some boos or some trepidation, they got up on their feet and they gave him a standing ovation. It was like, we're going to carry you if we have to through this thing. And we all remember that performance. He went into the 6th inning, gave up just 3 hits or 4 hits and a couple runs, and that sort of got the ball rolling for this Red Sox team. They won the game on Ortiz's home run, but that may have been the turning point of all the turning points that we've seen in different moments. That may have been the greatest one right there, to lift that guy up like that. A guy who was disappointed that he didn't get a chance to be in the rotation, a guy who had a bad year, and to lift him up like that. And he commented on it after the game to get that kind of response, and he's had a love-hate relationship with that Fenway crowd. It was pretty awesome to be in the ballpark to see that happen, and obviously to see the end result.
A lot of good moments. We're going to come back to the Rolling Rally. You're watching the 2004 World Series champions right here on NEC.
And we'll be back with more coverage of the World Series parade in Boston. Plus, we're getting ready for college football to kick off. Lots more on ESPN News coming your way.
ESPN Game Plan from DirecTV.
Touchdown!
You want it, you need it. Order today.
Tag to right field along the line. It's sharply and off of that foul pole. It is going to be gone. A home run.
If you watched him all year, he's really been a pretty good player. And he has a tendency to swing and miss. I mean, that's part of his game. He strikes out. But he's a very good player. He's been a very clutch player for us all year. He's hit a number of game-winning hits, home runs, clutch hits. And I know myself, the coaching staff, the other players, we all feel real good about him, that he's going to help us.
Lies on the right. Did he hook it too much? It's down the line. It strikes the foul pole. It's gone. It's gone. A two-run homer from Bellhorn.
I think every little boy thinks, always dreams of playing in the World Series, Game 7, and winning the game. I know I did, I guess. But, I'm not here to try to be a hero, just here to try to win 4 games.
What a story Mark Bellhorn was this year. As people 4 or 5 games into the ALCS were calling for his replacement by Pokey Reese because Mark Bellhorn was struggling. It was a legitimate discussion because Bellhorn's struggling at the plate and Pokey Reese as good or better than anyone else defensively. But I think one thing that Terry Francona has done, and it has worked for him this year, is he's stuck with guys. He stuck with Kevin Millar through the regular season, and that paid off. He stuck with Mark Bellhorn, and he had the huge 3-run home run in Game 6 at New York. Had the big solo shot, which, again, that was a one-sided affair, but Pedro Martinez had just pitched the top half of the 7th, the crowd, or bottom half. The crowd was coming to life. He came right back with a solo home run that quieted down. And then, of course, the biggest, maybe, at-bat of this postseason when it's all said and done, because that had the makings. Game 1 of the World Series had the makings of a classic postseason collapse. They had a big lead, 7-2. All of a sudden, it was 9-9 in the 8th inning, and before you even had time to panic, which is what we do, Mark Bellhorn hits a 2-run home run. From that point on, the Cardinals were never in this series.
I think as a player, I think that you take a look at a guy like Terry Francona who stays with you through the hardest of times, and he did that, as you mentioned, with Bellhorn and Millar. I think for fans at times it's frustrating the number of strikeouts Bellhorn had. He's not just getting out, but he's striking out consistently. But, as it worked out in the end, this is a guy who came up huge all year, a guy who was really a fringe guy coming into the season. You didn't expect him to be there every day. Turned out he was there every day and turned into an outstanding guy as far as on-base percentage goes and came up with some very key home runs. And, he missed a good chunk of time, too, at the fractured thumb, but boy, did he come back big in the postseason.
You think about where he was on this depth chart. They had Tony Womack in spring training.
Yeah, they had Carlos Fabulous
Carlos Fabulous, so ahead of him on the depth chart.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, here he is, not only in the lineup, but getting, a 3-game home run hitting streak in the biggest time of the year.
So it's all about getting hot at the right time, and for Mark Bellhorn, it couldn't, and the Red Sox, it couldn't have happened at a better time. And the fact that an opposite field home run, I'll never forget that. Opposite field home run at Yankee Stadium. You think about how, if that's, the change of venues, sometimes I think about that as a pitcher. Maybe it's because if you throw certain pitches and they don't work out, you wish you were at another ballpark because a home run would have been an out. But, the wall taketh and giveth. And some of Bellhorn's home run would have been a double, maybe even a single at Fenway Park. And, it's funny how things work out that way.
Just to sort of give you an idea where we are now, this is the additional part of this route. This was not on the original map now as they come down towards the Museum of Science in Cambridge. They won't come into Cambridge, but they're heading over that way to get on the Charles River. As you can see, this is sort of running along Store Drive, I believe, down by the river. That's not Pedro.
You thought about it.
That is not Pedro. Yeah. The hair, the uniform, the similarities end there. I wanted to clear that up very quickly. But this is, again, and give full credit. You know what? Wednesday night, Don, I know you were in St. Louis. Bob, you were here with us. Tens of thousands of people back out here celebrating again. And there were arrests made, and there was some violence, but nothing life-threatening, thank God. Nothing overly dangerous as it was last time. Really a great job by the city. Not only today, but in keeping things under control after Game 4 of the World Series.
This is a huge task to undertake. You're talking about millions of people here coming in one general area, and to have this taken care of and protected, truly amazing, and they've done an outstanding job.
All right, we are going to go to Jerry Remy, who is checking in from one of the duck tour boats. Hello, Rem Dog. Oh, hang on. Well, all right, let's try this. Jerry Remy, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here, but I can hardly hear you.
Tell us what it's like out there, Rem.
It's unbelievable the amount of people that have been on this route. And I think we're getting real close to going into the water here pretty soon. So That's the best I can do. I can't hear you guys. I don't know if you can hear me, but it's been one hell of a ride.
Yeah, actually, we're hearing you pretty good. And if you can hear us, Rem, have you ever experienced anything like this?
No, I've never seen anything in my life like this. And it's just been nonstop since the time we left Fenway Park, and now heading down into, I guess, pretty soon the water. I don't know. But it's been like nothing I've ever seen in my life. I've never seen so many happy people in my whole life. It's incredible.
Rem, if you can hear me, I'll ask you one last question here. Well, how are the players taking this in? I mean, you're out there with Pedro and Kurt Schilling and Derek Lowe. Are they blown away by this?
I got to back off, man, because they're trying to hear the whole scream of these guys. But I'm going to have to get off because I really can't hear much of what you're saying. I hope I'm able to add a little something to it, but I hope you don't get feedback here.
It sounds like it's getting loud about a minute. That's Jerry Remy joining us out on the Duck Tour boat right in the middle of it all. Just amazing stuff, and you really got to feel for how crazy it is out there.
Yeah, I mean, I think you look at this here, now some of the fans are a little bit further away than they were earlier. I mean, it must have been pretty incredible as the guys were on top of them. I mean, as far as close as the fans were in earlier parts of the rally. But sounds like from Rem, they're about ready to head into the water.
Well, Donnie, you made a comment about the police and the city officials and security with regard to this. You think about the DNC was here and the amount of preparation and security that was involved in that. The Red Sox in the postseason alone, and to go deep into the postseason and win that, in addition to them, I'm sure there's a majority of them, even when they were not working, are Red Sox fans. I think that the police and the officials in Boston are going to be happy that when this ends as well, and no major events coming up anytime soon.
Yeah, you're right. It's a great point. It's been a pretty big year for the city of Boston. You had in the beginning of the year, you had the Patriots celebration, you had the Democratic National Convention, and now the biggest sports celebration of all as the Red Sox are 2004 World Series champions, and they spend their day in the sun, figuratively, if not literally, here at the Rolling Rally.
From Ted Williams to Bobby Orr to Larry Bird to Tom Brady to this. All of Boston's greatest sports moments, all on one 2-hour and 45-minute video. Go behind the scenes and relive the thrills with the Boston Globe's award-winning sports staff. Boston's greatest sports stories beyond the headlines. Order now by calling 1-877-GLOBE-DVD or visit boston.com/GLOBE-DVD.
Get in.
Williams. Bill Miller has tied it.
The 2-1 pitch. Swing and a drive. Deep to right. Way back. And this ball is gone. Jump on his back, fellas. The Red Sox win. Ramirez will lead it first. Here's the pitch. And a little flare. Center field. The ball falls for a hit. Here comes Johnny Damon with the winning run. And David Ortiz has done it again. The Red Sox will play Game 6 tomorrow night in New York.
Like a scene from The Natural. Schilling climbs the mound.
The 0-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. He struck him out on a splitter. Bellhorn drives one down the left field line. Matsui on the move. It is gone! A home run! Or is it? No, it was touched by a fan. Touched by a fan. 2 runs will score. The Red Sox are going to argue. They thought that ball was gone. Here's a home run. It is a home run finally.
Jeter with a short lead at first. Here's the set. The pitch. Swing and a dribbler off the end of the bat down the first base side. Arroyo picks it up, and he tracked him. He dropped the ball. It rolls down the right field line. Jeter hitting third. He's going to score. A-Rod at second. He should have been out. Slapped it away.
I don't know if the umpire saw it, though.
He had the ball in the glove, and he slapped the glove. He slapped the glove with his hand. Knocked the ball out. That's not legal.
But I wonder if Arroyo screened the umpires. I wonder if they saw it.
A-Rod is out. Jeter goes back to first, and here comes Torrey. Well, they got it right again. Here's the pitch. Swinging a high drive to deep right. Back toward the corner it goes. Sheffield looking up. Grand slam. The 1-0 pitch. Swinging a ground ball to second base. Pokey Reese has it. He throws to first, and the Red Sox have won the American League pennant. They mob Allen Embry on the mound. The Boston Red Sox have pulled the greatest victory in team history. in the 104 years of the Boston Red Sox.
That was amazing. Absolutely amazing. The comeback of comebacks, as they like to say. You know, Jimmy, it was interesting. At the end of that game, you heard New York, New York, which the Yankees play after every time they win. It's almost like the guy forgot that, no, wait a minute, the other team won. But I can tell you, I've stood on that field, Game 7 of last year, and heard them loop that Sinatra tune around and around. I used to like the song. Now, pretty much don't want to hear it ever again.
You did like that song at one point?
It was going around. I'm a big fan of Sinatra, but it was going around and around. And at that point, maybe an hour later, it was still going on. And of course, we were all, just feeling helpless after seeing Boone's home run. But then to see the Red Sox wrap it up in Yankee Stadium this year, they played the music. Somehow it didn't sting nearly as much.
Probably some Yankee fans that don't like Muddy Water by the Standells either.
Yeah,
and that's what these duck boats are headed for. They're headed for the muddy water of the Charles River as we are watching the rolling rally of the Boston Red Sox 2004 championship team. And these fans are certainly getting some prime real estate as they get close to those who probably didn't have a chance to get very close as they move downtown Boston. And this route has been extended, as we said, to give people a better chance and probably give a chance for people to kind of ease their way out of the city, as there's really no way to estimate what the crowds were for this event.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how people do exit because, once the parade passes by, unless you're planning on going to try to pick it up at another location, it's time to head home. So slowly but surely, people are making their way out of the city. It's unfortunate with the low ceiling that we have as far as the clouds are concerned. A lot of the choppers obviously are being grounded today. They're not up and we can't get aerial views, but I'll tell you what, the place you really want to be is down low anyway. It's right where you are right here. And if you're watching at home, which you certainly are, you know that you're dry, you're warm, and you can enjoy the pictures right here.
Got the best seat in the house right here.
Certainly do.
Keep it here on ESPN News. We'll be back with more live coverage.
The other side with regard to that?
I think they were surprised. I think the first thing was that, they weren't out there. Nobody was out there. It was a pretty strange setting. We're sitting there waiting. And you're looking and there's nobody out there at all. Nobody coming, nobody stretching, nobody doing anything. Coming out of the dugout, nothing. So it was very strange. And I think that, all of it was kind of cat and mouse a little bit and playing with the psyche. But I think at that point, really, when they forced it to go back to New York, that's when the papers and the talk show started in New York of could this be the ultimate collapse? And the players started, it was in the back of their minds. They couldn't help, and it certainly changed everything.
You did have the feeling that if they won Game 4, they could at least make a fight. Anybody predict they'd win 4 in a row? Maybe not.
Who started Game 4?
Derek Lowe.
Derek Lowe.
You talk about, again, the guy who was buried in the bullpen, making all the big starts. The comeback win in Game 4, he started. He was the winning pitcher and started Game 7. Winning pitcher and started the final game of the World Series. Winning pitcher in relief of the walk-off David Ortiz home run game. Just an amazing postseason run for him. You talk about a guy who had maybe hurt his value as a free agent during the season and then absolutely resurrected himself in the postseason. That's Derek Lowe.
Well, one of the happiest guys certainly is Derek Lowe's agent. And if you take a look at what he did in the postseason, the Red Sox fans are happy, but Derek Lowe's agent's a little happier.
Cha-ching! No, but, and maybe it'll be, I certainly, the way that Derek Lowe pitched at the end of the season, his confidence, and he mentioned that in the postgame, that one thing he took away from the last week of the season was his preparation and how he had focus on the task at hand. And you develop as a pitcher. You got to think, Derek Lowe hadn't been a starter for that long. His first year as a starter, he won 21 games, and I don't think he had any idea how he did that, but he did it. And then, last year going through all that, now it's free agent season, coming through and having the pressure of trying to perform, knowing that the contract's at the end. He learned a lot this year, and I think he's grown personally, and if he can take that with him wherever he pitches, as an athlete, when you're out on the mound in those 3 situations that you just mentioned, TC, whenever you start to feel like you can't compete, that your confidence is waning and that you just may not be able to do it, you have plenty of moments to recall in your mind and say, you know what, I pitched in the World Series. I won Game 4 of the World Series. I won Game 3 of the ALDS. You have these things to call upon, and that's just huge.
saw Gabe Kapler. I mean, I think if you look back towards the course of the early part of the season, Trot Nixon missing the bulk of the season, really, in a very frustrating year. But to see guys like Gabe Kapler step up, I mean, he's another guy that really nobody wanted at one point. He was playing in AAA for the Colorado Sky Sox. You know, the Rockies had given up on him. A number of different organizations had kind of given up on him. He comes to Boston, starts very fast last year, and now this year comes in and was going to be a role player, but he turned into an everyday player while Trot Nixon was out and was part of the rotating force out there in right field. And
he could have gone somewhere else and perhaps started, Donnie, and he elected to come here. And the other thing that, as you were talking about him, I thought about how important he was. Kevin Millar called him the best teammate he's ever had and helped him when he was down most. What he did for this team in general, just with the chemistry of the ball club, I think, has tremendous value. And I think that sometimes is underestimated as to what players bring to that. Cabrera, in my opinion, Cabrera was huge in that department because all of a sudden you had another frontline player that was Latin that connected with David and Manny and Pedro, and it just unified the whole group.
Well, I see the fans. I mean, we talked about the parade coming through and then moving on, and sort of it's over. But it's not over because I think Boston is just going to be celebrating all day long. Duck Tour boats or no Duck Tour boats. As for the Duck Tour boats, I think they are, as we heard Jerry Remy report, getting close to the water portion of our rolling rally, which I guess at that point becomes a floating rally. But I don't want to,
all the people that are walking along the side of these since we left,
they're all going to jump into Charles.
They got dinghies out there.
I was thinking, if you saw, as we saw it a couple of times, the front of the procession come through, there's that white truck, which is the camera truck. It's actually a multi-tiered truck shooting back. That can't go in the water. I hope
that's got to veer off.
I hope he figers that out. I don't want him to sort of follow a Duck Tour bus.
So do we have one of our friendly faithful from Nesson on one of these floating boats that's are we going to shoot from the banks?
I don't know. I assume we're going to have video. I don't know. I shouldn't change anything. These are remote cameras.
Remote cameras. Yeah. Well, I don't know all this technology. Yeah?
There's fog. There's fog down on the river we want to report. And I wonder if, there's weekend sailing schools and sailing clubs. They have any idea what they're in for in the next 15 minutes to a half hour when the Red Sox nation takes to the water.
You've done this Duck Tour thing, yes?
I have.
Yes.
Is this the normal route for the Duck Tour out on the water here?
Not the whole thing, but yeah, this is about what they normally do. I would say yes. It's been a few years, but I would say yes. Yeah, as we reported earlier, they go in right near the Museum of Science. Museum of Towers, I'm told, is the official place they go in. And they come back up to Mass Ave and turn around and go back. Have you ever seen them out there? It's pretty fun.
I've seen them go.
And there's all these little sailboats, and all of a sudden here's this World War II amphibious thing coming through. And they're all over different cities now. We see them in Baltimore all the time. We go down to see the Sox play at Camden Yards. At the Inner Harbor, you can see you're looking back towards North Station and North End that way, and they're sort of going around the fence. So this is where they're going in the water. They're about to they're picking up speed now. This is a rolling rally. We see them in Baltimore all the time. We go down to see the Sox play at Camden Yards. At the Inner Harbor, you can see you're looking back towards North Station and North End. As we're going to keep it here for a moment. Let's see. You can see the truck. There's the white truck I talked about.
Veered off, fortunately.
The truck is safe.
I was concerned. Thousands of dollars of television equipment on that truck. I'd hate to see it all go down into Charles. So you're looking at the view from Doug Mirabelli and Gabe Kapler's boat. And as I have that, they are in the middle of the pack. They're boat 9 out of 17 boats. So that's the middle of the pack. As you look up, they're going to hit the water. We're going to take a break, come on back, and bring the splashing conclusion of this rolling rally to you live here on Nesson. Out of 17 boats. So that's the middle of the pack. As you look up, they're going to hit the water. We're going to take a break, come on back, and bring the splashing.
We'll be back on ESPN News. More live coverage as the Red Sox celebrate a title. Stay with us.
Hey, Boston Red Sox, you finally reversed the curse and won the World Series. What are you going to do next? We're going to Disney World! We're going to Disney World!
When is it done?
I'm just happy that the people in New England can now sleep at night.
Jason Varitek talking about the championship, the World Series championship that is being celebrated today in the streets of Boston and on the Charles River. As someone's having some trouble there. A couple of sailboats getting a little tipsy down there as the fans taking it all in and watching these duck amphibious vehicles head out to the Charles.
TC, I want to just take a run with something for a moment. You had mentioned in our last show, I can't remember when that was, about the fact that, Varitek and Lowe came over in a trade that was one of the biggest one-sided trades in history, and how the management, this is kind of a, you give credit certainly to the trio and the management group now and the owners now, but this has been a couple of these players, Trot Nixon, they've been set in motion with prior regimes, if you will, and Jason was in that. He's a minor leaguer with Seattle, and now he's a cornerstone of the Red Sox.
We even said it on the postgame show Wednesday night, and I said, Lou Gorman drafted Trot Nixon. I mean, there were three regimes, if you will, represented on this team.
I was on Seattle radio last week with people still talking about that. They haven't quite gotten over it in Seattle that trade for Heathcliff Slocum took place. I mean, it was not a real good trade.
Was the starting battery in Game 4 of the World Series?
How about that?
They don't like that?
How about that? But it was interesting too. Dan Duquette was actually on the field in St. Louis when they won it, and a lot of those guys were his guys too. Those are guys that he brought over at different times. You're right. Lou Gorman, the last link really to Trot Nixon, who drafted him, and then. That was his last real, year of being general manager and came through. So you're right. You're talking about three different GMs that have contributed to this.
I heard Brian Daubach, who lives in St. Louis, was in the clubhouse.
Well, he lives there, yeah. And, he's a guy that, I think anticipated he would play much more this year, coming back to the organization, felt like he'd have more of a role. Each time he went down figuring that he'd be back. And certainly for the September call-ups, and he was taken off the 40-man the last time, which makes it more difficult, and he did not return. Certainly the Red Sox, after getting Minkevich, had enough first baseman and DH types at that point.
Of course, the longest tenured veteran of this championship Red Sox team, Tim Wakefield, the man who got to start Game 1 of the World Series when it was all said and done. You talk about redemption, how far he came from being on the mound for the walk-off home run from Aaron Boone last year. Tim Wakefield helping pitch the Red Sox to the World Championship.
The 2-2. Swung on and missed. He struck him out. This side is retired. Cut on a miss for strike 3.
I think the city of Boston deserves it more than I do. They've been through a lot of heartache. They've endured my career for the last 10 years, and I'm just glad. I'm thankful that that we can bring a world championship home to them.
Swing and a miss. He struck him out.
Well, Tim Wakefield was such a big part of all of this as the parade is out on the river, we believe, or getting close to it.
How about Timmy's year? Firstborn, you guys remember your firstborn? Mm-hmm. Incredible moment that was. Wakefield has that and a World's title in one season. And his ranking all time, second in appearances, fourth in strikeouts, third in innings, eighth in wins. He's been here a long time.
This is cool too right here. When it ended, we were going down the hallway to get onto the field, and a lot of the players were running by us to the clubhouse, and Pedro Martinez was running from the field to the clubhouse with the Dominican flag kind of wrapped around him. And, I think there's so many people in Boston that are part of this, and certainly the fans who bring the Dominican flags out to see Pedro, to see David Ortiz, they're enjoying this very much, and they've been with us all year long at home and on the road, and, it's a time for them to share, and as we mentioned earlier, they're going to have a parade in the Dominican for those two guys. How big do you think that'll be? That'll be huge.
It'll be huge, absolutely. Yeah. They are this team, the Red Sox. We saw it during the ALCS. You go towards Washington Heights in the Bronx, and they have a huge Red Sox following there because of not just Pedro, but Manny and David Ortiz. Right now, we're going to take a moment and look at some of the men behind the team. As you can see, the duck boats are out on the water. The ownership group that brought this together, and the manager who steered this team through it all to a world championship.
Beat some really, really good teams under some adverse conditions, and we ended up standing at the end. And for that, I'm proud and I'm pleased, and that's all I care about.
You know what? This isn't for us, though. This is for all those fans for 86 years. People have come up to us on the street and said, just once in our lifetime. So this is for them.
This was our mandate. This was
I felt like we became New Englanders last year in Game 7 with the Yankees. But this was our mandate, and it's our mandate to try to be to make the playoffs every year. And if you make the playoffs every year, something good is going to happen sooner or later. In this case, sooner.
I think there's something inspirational about Red Sox baseball. I've only come to it in the last 3 years, but I have the zeal of the convert. I know how extraordinary it is to be a part of Red Sox Nation, and I hope the inspiration from this has some effect on people in other aspects of their life. I mean, the way this team came back from the desperation that they were in seems to say to me that nothing is ever impossible.
We can't believe it. You know, when you think about how we were down 3-0 to the Yankees, but you know, what a great team. We went 11-3 in the postseason. We beat the Angels, we swept the Angels, we beat the Yankees, and then we swept the Cardinals. And these are all 3 great teams.
Congratulations, Red Sox Nation.
It's a great point. You can draw inspiration from this team, and sometimes we overdo what a sports team means to its fandom. But if you can't draw inspiration from a team that was down 3-0 and facing Mariano Rivera in the 9th inning, you can't draw inspiration from anyone.
Good look at the Charles here as they head off.
They're rolling on the river now.
This is no longer a rolling. This is definitely floating.
It's a floating rally. Again, dry land training is over for the championship parade. They are now, you see the Zakin Bridge in the background. Trot Nixon in the camouflage Red Sox hat, which has suddenly become very popular.
Yes, yeah, that was big. Kevin Millar started that. We're on the road, and it's picked up. You see the Zakin Bridge there. You wonder about how many people were lined up to jump off the Zakin Bridge should the Red Sox not come back.
After 19-8 in Game 3, I think people were starting to check out the directions. You mentioned, Don, the feeling after that game, the 19-8 loss. The moment I really remember and compare all of this to is the feeling before Game 4. It was like a regular season game or worse out here. There was no excitement. There was no buzz. People stayed home and watched the Patriots. We had reports that tickets were going for below face value out on eBay and some of the other sites.
There's no buzz.
There was nothing.
Whatsoever.
It was over. And all of a sudden, it came back. The next day, Monday, when they played the 5 o'clock game, you could feel it again.
It was back.
Just from that one comeback win.
I think that's one of the very few times, and that includes the regular season, where we did not hear a buzz at Fenway Park. I mean, there's one that, exists here that does not exist in other ballparks around the major leagues. For those of us who have the chance to go to those ballparks, it's an event for some people, different ballparks, but there's not that constant buzz of intensity of a good strike or a nasty pitch where you hear something or a guy gets ahead 2 strikes and all of a sudden the crowd's... I mean, it's not like that in other places. Maybe like that at Yankee Stadium, some of the other ballparks, Philly at times, but, we saw that here, and when it went out and there was no life in this ballpark, it was such an unusual occurrence. I remember going through the Canvas Alley area out onto the field after the 19-8 loss at Fenway and just looking at the faces of the fans. I mean, it was like they just couldn't believe it. I mean, here was this team that was so successful during the regular season, came in with a little bit more of a swagger than they've had in the past, thinking that not only can they compete with the Yankees, but they can beat them, and then to be beaten in Game 3 the way they were certainly took the wind out of their sails for the moment. And then they came back.
A little trivia, gentlemen. Let me throw out a couple names at you and see if they ring any bells. And then we'll throw a third name in the ring and see if there's anything in common. Jake Stahl and Ed Barrow. Do you know who Ed Barrow is?
Got me.
0 for 2 there, Tooks. Don't know.
Ed Barrow was the last manager of the World Series champion prior to Terry Francona. 1918, Ed Barrow. My question to you, gentlemen, is...
Did you play for Ed? Or?
How many people will remember the manager and the players of the Boston Red Sox the rest of their lives?
Jerry Remis said at the end of the broadcast the other night, you will remember the men who played on this team and managed and coached this team, because this is a team you will remember and talk about for the rest of your life. And we will talk about this parade as it floats on down the Charles.
So, Mr. Ramirez, you know what you want? Mr. Ramirez. Manny?
Floats on down the Charles.
Keep it here on ESPN News. After the break, we'll go back to more live coverage as the Red Sox celebrate in the streets and rivers of Boston. Geico, we're all about happy customers. In fact, our customer satisfaction is at 97%. But to get the other 3%, we're going door to door across America. And just a little aside to the people of Grand Rapids, I didn't know that was meatloaf.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
It began with the original wave radio. Popular science called it a sonic marvel, and the San Francisco Chronicle said it must be heard to be believed. Now, we've engineered it to a whole new standard. Introducing the new Bose Wave Music System. The new Wave Music System reproduces 1/2 octave lower musical notes. It delivers even greater instrument clarity and definition. And it plays MP3 CDs as well as conventional CDs. There are no buttons. Just use the convenient credit card style remote control. Its elegance is further enhanced by the new slot-loaded CD player. Call now to order what may well become the primary music system in your home. Be sure to ask about financing options. Our Excitement Guarantee gives you a 30-day risk-free trial, and shipping is free. So call today to experience the new Bose Wave Music System.
2004 has likely created more hype around the Boston Red Sox than any year in history. How does that affect the sale of Red Sox merchandise? You would imagine it might be flying off the shelves. Here's Derek.
Through big for the Red Sox. And Trot Nixon, who, 3 weeks before the postseason, nobody thought this guy was going to be healthy enough to make the roster. He did, and he proved to be a big part of this team.
Swing and a drive, right field, that's over the head of Larry Walker. And up against the bottom of the fence, the run is in. Miller scores, it's another 2-out RBI for Boston. Now ahead 2-0. Nixon in, makes the diamond catch.
I'm numb right now. I'm absolutely numb. I mean, I know how much this city wanted.
5% this year. The Anaheim Angels.
There's a lot of people that deserve a lot of credit for me being here. And I praise them. I praise the Lord for giving me the opportunity to be in a Red Sox uniform, to be out here, be healthy enough to come in and play in the postseason this year and to win a world championship is beyond my wildest dreams.
Trot Nixon and the Boston Red Sox, world champions, and he's one of the guys that you feel great for. You feel good for all these guys, but he's a guy who came up through the system, has been around this team a long time.
What a frustrating year it was for him, too, TC. I mean, not to be able to play throughout the year. He signs the contract that has him here for the next few years during the offseason. He was ready to go, fired up during spring training, and then to have the setback. First with the back, which you didn't think was that big a deal coming in. Then as he's rehabbing the back, the quad happens, and a pretty devastating quad problem. He's able to come back, and some people thought that perhaps, it would be the end of this season for him with the quad situation. Then he's able to come back, and I think for me, the biggest surprise for me was when he did come back, his timing at the plate was there. And for some way and somehow he was able to get himself ready for the postseason. Not only was he on the roster, but in right field the entire time.
You're right. There was a lot of talk about him not being able to play in the postseason. He wouldn't be ready. I remember making a trip to Pawtucket. It might have been a game that you and I did, TC, on Nesson, and it may have been September 2nd, I believe it was an off day, and Trot was there in rehab, and he said, too, this is the last go. I don't know if I can do this. And it turned out that every day he got better and better, and you saw the slip. We all cringed when he fell in the outfield in Busch Stadium, and what a recovery he made, and show you the value of what type of great player he is. A great catch in one of the games early on down the line. That was a big catch, and then the 3 doubles. Certainly, he's just now starting to feel good about his swing, and the season's over, but he'll take it.
How about the K-Men taking to the water, coming through again? They had trouble finding a spot at Fenway Park after the left field monster. Maybe they'll just stay out on the Charles River next year, whenever Pedro pitches. The K-Men being accounted for as Trot Nixon gives him a salute. And we didn't talk much about this. It just occurred to me that, again, got to thank Manny Ramirez and David Ortiz for having big games in the All-Star game, because without that, maybe the Red Sox don't get to open at Fenway Park, and if this thing opens in Busch Stadium, who knows if it comes out the same way.
You know, I like it. I mean, I do. A lot of people are critical of the fact that the All-Star game now all of a sudden determines, who gets it. But I think you do need to have some sort of value to the All-Star game. I think that the situation that took place ending in a tie, I think the credibility there was certainly questioned. And maybe it's not a perfect scenario, but at the same time, I think that it adds meaning to the All-Star game, and certainly for Red Sox fans now.
Take a look at the Charles River. The boat's out there as they head again to the Mass Ave Bridge.
Still dancing.
And this is the celebration back on land after the rolling rally has rolled through. They just keep on partying, and why not? This doesn't happen every year, as we well know.
This is going to, you said it earlier, this is going to go on through the night into tomorrow.
Halloween.
There'll be people dressed up in Red Sox. What do you think the most popular costume is going to be?
Johnny Damon. I'm convinced. Johnny Damon, although gauging from my son's second grade response, there's a lot of Kurt Schillings out there, too. There's going to be a lot of bloody socks.
Nice.
Get a lot of those.
Nice,
But Johnny Damon, pretty easy. Get yourself a Red Sox cap, a wig, a beard. You're out there.
You're good to go.
You're Johnny Damon. Try Nixon talking to another network. We'll cut away from that right now.
Red Sox Nation is alive. Today, it's the weather. I mean, obviously it's cold and damp, but the rain has stopped, which was not supposed to happen.
That's right.
And that's certainly made it a little bit more pleasant for the parade goers. And
no, it's great for the fans, too. I mean, because you suffer with this team for as long as they have. You go through the ups and the downs in the course of the whole season. And then it ends, you really don't have a chance to, you celebrate amongst yourselves, but you don't have a chance to be with the team and to be with other Red Sox fans. And this gives everybody a chance coming from all over New England to do just that.
A little bit of closure, as you said, and that's important when you have such a long, stressful, exciting time. And I think TC had alluded to earlier that this is going to continue. There will be other venues in the 6 states.
Yeah, they'll be doing the rest of New England and beyond, we've been told already. We're trying to tell Jerry Remy he's got to do one in Aruba, although he doesn't know that. He's going to have to
He'll be there.
have the Aruban celebration as we continue to salute the individual performers and the contributions made by all of these Red Sox guys like Keith Folk, who had the ball at the end of all 4 World Series games.
Swing and a miss on the off-speed pitch. Did he hold up? That's strike 3.
It's one of those feelings that, words really can't describe. Just the pride that I feel for this team. All these guys have busted their hump all year, and just this organization, the Boston, the whole region up there, it's, it's absolutely incredible, and I'm proud for everybody that's had, something to do with this.
Oh, what more can you say about Keith Folk?
That's not a duck boat, TC.
That's a jet ski. That's a personal watercraft. Now, is that
that's a nice shot.
That's a good shot. They sit quite low in the water.
Yeah.
Wow.
But that's a great shot because you see how many fans have taken this opportunity to come down on the banks.
Are you sure that's not sinking? I mean, that's as low as it is.
No,
that's going down.
I've been in one. That's okay. That's all good.
Yeah, look at the fans along the side of the Charles.
I didn't realize there were that many down along the river, which is what this was all meant to do, alleviate some of the stress. So actually, if you played your cards right, once this was announced, maybe the best bet would have been to watch them come out of Fenway at the start. Then you had plenty of time to get down towards Mass Ave and get to the water to see them come around towards the end.
I think the sailboat idea is the best, though. I mean, it's the closest you can get is in that sailboat.
By the way, we are just being told, and this was something we had looked forward to, the Nesson chopper had gone up from World Headquarters here. And but there are no helicopter shots of this rolling rally because of the weather.
The weather.
That changed some things.
It changed. That
so
was
that's
part
why
of the plan.
Remy was able to go on the boat, because he didn't have to fly the chopper. Once Jerry found out he was grounded, he was able to go on the duck tour boat and enjoy this.
It'll be interesting to talk to Jerry when this concludes to see what his thoughts were. He was pretty, he couldn't hear anything we were saying. He sounded excited. Never heard Jerry sound that excited. You know?
Have you? Yeah, Don does.
I have.
Don gets him very
excited quite a bit.
Yeah? Well, I hadn't, so.
Wally will fall off his chair or something. Wally might fall out of the Adirondack chair.
I noticed it. He didn't bring Wally with him.
Oh, Wally was here. It had champagne on him.
So in fact, the official word we're being told by Remdog Enterprises is that
World Headquarters
today is the last day of the sitting on the head for
Well, that's good, because I was very worried about
There was a lot
Wally.
of blood.
I mean,
There was a lot of blood
It
up to
was,
his head. His head was getting red. So they do turn him back. If those of you at home who followed, and they were the beauty of this whole thing is that national shots of fans at Fenway Park during the World Series with little Wallies and Ed Roddick upside down.
Yeah.
So you can. It is now okay. Jerry said himself that it's now okay
to flip it
after
back
the parade.
I don't know. I mean, why would you take the chance? I mean, spring training's right around the corner. I mean, you got to keep it going, don't you?
Go Celtics! Pats are undefeated.
Yeah,
There's got to be a reason.
There's more business to be done here, Wally.
We're going to take a look at Bill Miller's contribution this postseason.
Off the middle, base hit. Roberts rounding third, waved in. Bernie Williams throwing home. It's cut off, and the game is tied. The Red Sox tie it in the bottom of the ninth.
Unbelievable, not only for the city of Boston, our team, to win it in my hometown is, I'm going to take these next 3 months and just soak it all in and really just enjoy it.
Almost in Barrington. Cabrera is in. Boston ahead 4-0.
Well, Bill Miller, and I say this, people ask me about Bill Miller, I always say the same thing basically, is you'd take 25 of those guys on your roster any day of the week.
Great guy, too. I mean, a lot of people ask what he's like off the field. Bill Miller is an outstanding individual. Somebody that, went through a lot this year, the knee surgery and everything else, and coming off a year in which he won the batting title, so much was expected of him. But, I mean, there's so many of these type of guys on this team. I mean, he is the ultimate gamer. I mean, he's a guy that has very good focus, great intensity, quiet, goes about his business, and gets stuff done. And he had an outstanding year again.
He had an outstanding year, and the Red Sox are world champions. They are out on the duck tour boats, out on the river, having the time of their lives. And our coverage continues after this.
Patties and your choice of smoky. Hyundai Elantra will win you over. Loaded with standard features like dual front and front side impact airbags, not to mention air conditioning and power everything, all standard. With award-winning quality that lets Hyundai offer America's best warranty. 10 years, 100,000 miles. The Hyundai Elantra. Come test drive yours, starting at $13,099 and $1,900 less than a Honda Civic LX when comparably equipped. With Hyundai, you win. Get a 2004 Hyundai Elantra with up to $2,500 cash back at your local Hyundai dealer.
This is your Soul Plane chauffeur.
Available now on pay-per-view. One airline has it all. Safety.
I don't know what you got in there, but we gon' find out. Security check.
Service.
We got a cockfight we setting up in 10 minutes. You in?
It's illegal, man.
Ain't no rules in the air.
And plenty of style.
Now that you got on a plane. You can't use that phone while we on. Girl, please. No. They say that to rip you up.
Soul Plane. Available now on pay-per-view.
Survival is an art, and in this ring lies a canvas on which the artists create their masterpiece. This is where inspiration breeds action, and action conflict. This is where anger and intensity give way to rage and fury. And this is the battleground on which our champions will collide.
The NBA on ESPN returns with Premiere Week. Kia NBA Shoot-Around tips off the Wednesday.
Don Orsillo. I'm Tom Karen. Straighten that tie out. There you go. We've been here since early this morning watching this all come together. I think on short notice, the Red Sox in the city have done a real nice job of this.
Outstanding job, and I think recognizing the fact that there are going to be so many fans coming and expanding the parade route was huge, and where it ends up there in the water for the fans on the banks was enormous. I mean, I think this is something the Red Sox Nation has been waiting for a very long time, and I think the Red Sox who do these things from Charles Steinberg on up and down, who do these things so very well, have done it again and outdone themselves here.
No, they really have, on short notice, which is not surprising that they would make the adjustments and work with the city to have this great production. Everyone, as I said, everyone always wondered, what was it going to be like when the Red Sox finally won a World Series? What was the parade going to be like? I don't think anyone expected it was going to hit the water, but indeed it has, and I think that's a nice little touch to it. As Donnie just said, what other World Series parade and celebration has taken to the water? Boston's the first one.
That's exactly right. They took the extra day. There was talk originally it would be 2 days after the last game. They wisely decided to put it off an extra day. And that was a good call. You get everybody out of Boston. You get the businesses out of Boston. You don't need to clog up the city on a day when there's supposed to be business and work being done. Also, a lot of kids came in for this today, and it allowed them to do that without missing school.
I think,
which is disappointing for the kids, by the way. I know a lot of kids wanted to be yesterday, get out of the day of school, but this worked out well.
No, but as far as planning goes, too, I mean, you have to remember the team did get back around 8:30 at 9 in the morning, so that day was kind of lost because there was no sleep all night the night before. And, planning for something of this magnitude certainly is going to take a little bit more time, the right amount of police that they had, especially when they expanded the parade route. But it was done very well, and I think by all accounts, things were outstanding.
Yes, they were, as they are, you can see in the upper corner, out on the water right now. The parade went through, and I guess as far as parades go, the only question was, would it be broken up, would it be separated? I think this is why you saw the entire pack go together, because once they got on the water, they'd end up being separated a bit anyway.
Right, yeah.
And you can't, you can't just all go into the water.
Right, not at the same time.
One has to wait for the next one.
Launch.
Yeah.
Launch.
You can't just be...
Is that the correct term, launch?
I think launch. Yeah.
That's why he's the best in the business. Yeah. Alan Embry, a huge part of this team. We talk about guys that the Yankees would have loved to have, a Myers or an Embry, either one of those guys, a key left-handed setup guy. Alan Embry, more than a situational lefty, certainly, and a big part of this championship run.
Swing and a miss, Womack strikes out. Swing and a miss for strike 3.
Well, we've picked up for one another one way or another all year. It's the guys find a way. I mean, to win, it doesn't matter. When one guy makes a mistake, somebody's there to pick him up. And with 25 guys that believe, it's a good feeling.
Got him. He strikes out the side.
Well, that's Alan Embry as the Red Sox look back on their incredible celebration as the celebration continues through today and then goes on beyond that to points to be announced around New England and beyond that. Tom Karen, Bob Tewksbury, Don Orsillo with you here in our Nesson studios, our continuing coverage of the rolling rally here in Boston on Championship Saturday for the Boston Red Sox. People are talking now about everything's changed. How do we handle it? These are the guys who, fall short. I'm okay with this. I want to be on record as saying I'm okay with the changes.
Well, I think it's going to be a little bit of an adjustment for Red Sox fans who are so used to having it not work out or finding new ways to lose it. I mean, here you won it. Now you're a world champion, and it changes the perspective altogether. I know one thing I'm certainly looking forward to is going back to Yankee Stadium and not having to hear 1918 being chanted everywhere. That's gone. They want to chant 2004, go right ahead.
How about Red Sox? We're going to say 2000 because it's been 4 long years.
Yeah. Well. Good.
We said in the Open today that after the Red Sox won the World Series, the winter got a lot longer and colder for Brian Cashman. It's going to be a long offseason in New York.
Brian Cashman, after it happened, Game 7, I was coming down the hallway, and he was coming out of an elevator, and I was thinking, even before I saw him, I go, wow, these guys are going to be heading to Tampa. They're going to start reevaluating their entire team, which they do at the end of every year. Usually it ends a little bit better than ended this year for the Yankees, but he looked like he was sort of a beaten man and knew that his next 24 to 48 hours were not going to be the easiest.
And they won't be, because the pressure will be to catch the Red Sox. But one of the things that you just alluded to was the fact of this all changing, and I think that what New England fans will take away from this is much like what happened in the Super Bowl. And the Red Sox faithful were going to think the Red Sox were going to fail until they won. The Patriots won the Super Bowl. Vinatieri had the kick. Last year's Super Bowl, you did not expect him to miss. You expected him to make it. Right. You expected the Patriots to win the Super Bowl. And now, with the Red Sox having done what they've done, and some people are losing their minds as we look at them swimming in the Charles, the Red Sox will now, people's perception and people's expectations will be that the Red Sox will win when they face dire straits, because they've changed history, and that is huge.
That gentleman being escorted away? Or
yes, I think he'll find a nice warm cell to dry off in before this day is all said and done. As fans getting a little exuberant here along the Charles River this afternoon. But it's a great point. And also, I don't want this talk of the mystique of the Red Sox is gone, because now they're just like any other team that won a championship. Because you know what? The second Super Bowl win was just as exciting as the first for the Patriots. These guys get back in the playoffs. You'll be just as caught up in it again.
Yeah, and I think right now you have a chance to go on a pretty good run. I mean, if you think about it last year, if things had gone a little bit differently, this may have been the second year in a row you would have won a World Series. So, I mean, this unit, I think, as long as this ownership is in place and are, certainly willing to spend the amount of money they have, and by all accounts they are, I think you're going to be in this type of situation every season. And now it's a chance to become a dynasty, which is a strange sounding thing,
Imagine
but
that.
an outstanding thing.
Imagine that. All right, Jason Varitek and the family taking it all in as Red Sox Nation pours the love right back at him from the banks of the Charles as the rolling rally splashes on.
The 2-1 pitch. Swing and a drive. Deep to right. Way back. And this ball is gone. Jump on his back, fellas. The Red Sox win. David Ortiz. Another walk-off home run. This one in the 12th. And the Red Sox beat the Yankees 6-4. David Ortiz. His 4th career walk-off home run. He will be mobbed at home plate, and the Red Sox live to play again.
I pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the fans
Of the entire Red Sox nation.
and to the Fenway faithful in all the stands.
One team.
Under Terry
Unbeatable. With offense.
and pitching.
Play ball. Play ball. Play ball.
Play ball.
One nation, one network. Nesson, your home for Red Sox baseball.
History happens here this fall on Nesson. It's Nesson Retro. It's New England sports history, and we're destined to repeat it. Nesson Retro turns back the clock on classic Sox and Bruins games and interviews the players who made them great. From the 86 Sox to the 88 Stanley Cup run, Nesson Retro digs them out and dusts them off. Relive the rivalries of the Bruins and Canadians, the Sox and Yanks. History happens here, Tuesday, November 9th at 8 p.m., only on Nesson.
Everybody comes up with something. They let me know. I learn the handshake, and then we do it.
What's Manny?
He's 1, 2, 3. Hit the shoulder. Go back and forget about it. The poke is almost the same. Hit the shoulder 3 times and then scream in the air. The tough, not think about. It just hurt my fingers or my hand with Kevin Millar. We got 1 backwards, twice, hit the hands twice again, and then cowboy style, because he's from Texas. Ortiz is almost the same with Porky. Just the same, but just big papa, louder, because he's a big guy. I like the one I got with Koppler.
What's that one?
Which is butterfly, come back, hit it twice, 1, I mean, I'm giving you something that I don't do. You know, you come out with us every trip, so I can give you a little something.
Orlando Cabrera sharing the love with Eric Fried as that was a pretty good display of
outstanding
high fives.
Yeah, it was. You know, as I watched that, you think, will the Red Sox share the love or the wealth to sign Cabrera? I think he's a huge part of this team, defensively up the middle.
Let's not go there today.
Why?
Enjoy the moment.
I just asked a question. Do you think he's valuable or not?
I don't care.
You don't
guys
care.
get along?
I don't care
Is it
about
possible
that
to
shit.
get along?
I just want to say,
Day of
for
celebration.
once in my life, what I'm saying is, as a
Enjoy the
lifelong Red
moment.
Sox fan, don't wait till next year. Don't even look
Don't
at
even
next
look
year.
at it. Enjoy
this moment.
Can I ask a question?
Maybe.
Do you think that he would be good at shortstop for the Red Sox in 2005?
Yes, I would.
Okay, now we can change the subject.
I think he was fantastic at shortstop for the Red Sox in 2004. And you go back to that trade, and I'm not a believer that trade single-handedly sparked a team. They may well have gone on a very good tear with Nomar at shortstop, but it changed the vitality in some way, shape, or form of this team. And a difficult trade to make was a huge part of this team being in the Charles River today.
And a great guy for the clubhouse. I mean,
above the water in the Charles River.
As opposed to in the Charles River.
I think he's a guy that you didn't know how he's going to react. He played in Montreal, played well in Montreal, but he comes into a situation where he takes over for Nomar Garciaparra. That's not easy. How is he going to adapt to playing on the big stage? He did, and he fit in very, very well.
He loved it. Home run his first game, first at bat.
First at bat, and then that huge extra.
The Red Sox and Yankees may go head-to-head in bidding for Pedro Martinez, but there are advisors on both sides who would love for the other team to take Pedro off the board this late in his career. Some of George Steinbrenner's executives are wary that the boss will go after the aging pitcher himself with a lucrative offer and would prefer that Boston get locked into a long-term deal with Pedro. The Red Sox are willing to sign Martinez, but for much less than his current $17 million salary. And if Martinez takes Yankee dollars, that would solve a public relations problem over his exit. And Boston wants to limit its long-term big money contracts. Their financial flexibility should give the Red Sox an advantage over the bloated Yankees this winter.
Since the Red Sox last won the World Series in 1918, the population of the United States has nearly tripled from just over 100 million to nearly 300 million. With more interesting things about what has happened since then, here's John Anderson.
It's Dartmouth versus Quinnipiac. College hockey on Nesson this Saturday at 7.
The Red Sox Rolling Rally has been brought to you by Olympia Sports, the official sporting goods retailer of Nesson and your source for all World Series merchandise. By the all-new 2005 Ford Super Duty. Like the Red Sox and Ford, it's built for the road ahead. And by Bob Stores. Congratulations, Sox, from Bob Stores, the official apparel